Alright, so these are the games that I'm currently playing. It's mainly PS2 games again, and the reason why I'm always mainly playing PS2 games is because the majority of my video game collection is PS2 games, and there's a hell of a lot of PS2 games that I've not played yet, so I just want to play through all of those games so I can find out which games I don't like, and then I can just put them onto eBay. But yeah, first up is Dr. Doolittle. And this game, it feels like it's aimed at toddlers because it's so simplistic and basic to play. It's so simplistic and basic and easy to play that for an adult, or at least for me, it's just not really any fun at all. For example, most of the game just consists of you walking around like a town, and you meet different animals, and one of the animals might say to you, "I'm really itchy, have you got something for that?" And so you go to a list of things, and you'll have things like flea powder, toothpaste, sun cream, etc. And so you've got to pick the right thing for the animal, and it's obvious that it's going to be flea powder, so you give that to the animal, and then the animal says, "Thanks, I feel a lot better now." And then you go and meet another animal, and this other animal might say something like, "It's really sunny and hot, my skin is burning, have you got something for me?" So obviously you give him the sun cream. So it's just a very, very simplistic, basic game to play. I mean, it can get a little bit more complex than that. Sometimes you've got to collect ingredients and you can mix them together to create different things like sun cream and whatever. But even that is it's very, very simple and basic, the process. So it's like there's just no challenge to the game at all. I mean, maybe the later levels are challenging. I'm not sure. I'm on something like the 6th level, and I think there's 8 levels in total. So maybe the last level, the 8th level, it might be quite complex. I don't know. I doubt it. But I can imagine toddlers really enjoying this game. I mean, it does seem like a good game for toddlers, but I can't really imagine many adults enjoying the game, which is a shame because I really like the way, like the game's presentation, like the way it looks and everything. It's like, it's like you're this little man and you're walking around town, and it's in 2D, but it's kind of like, it kind of has like a 3D perspective. I think you call it isometric or something. And the game, it just has a really nice look to it, but it's way too simple to play. And there's no game save with this either, and you can just, as soon as you put the game on, even if you've never played it before, you can just pick whatever level you want to go onto. So this is something that I will be putting onto eBay. Next up is the Warhorse Legend of the Deep, another game that's developed or published by Blast, like this one. And I think maybe Blast has a bit of a bad reputation, like Midas. But I actually really like this game. So it's based on a film called The Warhorse, a film that I've never heard of before, I've never seen before. And I don't really have much interest in watching the film because I've seen clips of the film in the game, and it looks like a good film, but it just doesn't really look like my kind of film. So, but yeah, it's like you've got these levels which are similar to Pac-Man, and you've got other levels where you take control of this like creature, which I guess is called the Warhorse, and you swim around and stuff. It's it kind of seems like a game that's been made on a budget. It barely pushes the PS2 at all, but I like it. It's quite a fun game. Driven to Destruction. This seems to get a lot of praise from a lot of people who are into video games. It's basically a demolition derby game. You can buy different like scrap cars, you can do them up, the cool thing is that you can take your car to like a spray shop and you can spray your own designs on the car and stuff. And there's so many different kinds of events that you can enter. There's like just regular races, and then there's you've got like trailer races and just all sorts of different kinds of events. But what really lets this game down for me is that there isn't really a sensation of speed at all. And for me, when I'm playing a racing game, if there's no sensation of speed, then it doesn't really feel that fun to play at all. But for some reason, this still feels quite fun to play. I guess because it's not strictly just a regular racing game, it's like a demolition derby game. So, like I said, there's all these different kind of events and stuff. You know, there's a lot more to the game than just kind of regular racing. But maybe when I get further in the game, I might be able to lock vehicles which are really fast and do give you a decent sensation of speed. But yeah, overall, I think it's a pretty good game. Here we have Maximo. I got this several years ago, didn't have the manual with it, and I remember trying the game out soon after I picked it up, and I'm sure I wasn't that into the game, it just didn't really do much for me. But around a week ago, I got around to trying out the game again, and I really enjoyed it for some reason, and I thought, okay, well, I'm going to buy the manual for this off eBay, because you know, when I got this game there was no manual with it, so all these years later, after picking it up, the game finally has a manual for it, and I've not really read that much of the manual yet, so I don't properly know how to play the game. I don't know about all the different things that you can do in the game. So far, you know, I've just been playing the game, you know, kind of on and off for about the last week, and I'm liking it a lot, so really need to read the manual for this so I can get a lot more out of the game. And it's, yeah, I've got to mention, it's a platformer as well, and makes such a refreshing change to be playing a platformer, because I've not played a platforming game for a long time now, so it's like a breath of fresh air. Here we have WRC4. So I got a bit tired of playing WRC3, and I thought, right, I want to move on to WRC4 now, but I don't have it, so I ended up buying this off eBay a few weeks ago, and I now own all of the WRC games for the PS2, and this is just such an awesome game. I think it's probably the best WRC game for the PS2. The graphics are really, really good for the PS2. They're a lot better than the other WRC games. A lot of the tracks in the game are way more varied than the past WRC games, and it's a lot more difficult. You know, sometimes I find it really difficult just to keep my car on the road. Maybe it's just a particular car that I've chosen and it's difficult to control. I've not tried out all the cars in the game yet, but it's like the easiest difficulty on this is, I think it's expert difficulty, whereas on the earlier WRC games you did have easier difficulties that you could choose from, or at least one easier difficulty that you could choose. Whereas on this, the easiest difficulty, like I said, I think it's something like expert, and it is really, really difficult. Most of the time I'm just getting those red rectangles instead of green ones. A very challenging game, but yeah, really, really great. Like the graphics, they kind of, I say they're probably about as good as Gran Turismo 4 for the PlayStation 2. I think the graphics are maybe kind of near to an early PS3 game, I guess, maybe. I don't know, but they are really, really good for the PS2. And then lastly, we have Grand Theft Auto 5 again. Yep, still playing this, still just messing around in the game. Not really tried out any of the missions for a long time now. I'm just happy with just messing about in the game, but I do want to do more missions. I want to see what they're like. They are fun to play. I want to unlock more stuff in the game, and yeah, these days I'm just kind of just trying to find interesting glitches in the game. So yeah, that is pretty much it. These are the games that I'm currently playing: Dr. Doolittle, The Warhorse, Driven to Destruction, Maximo, WRC4, and Gran Turismo 5. And I forgot to mention, WRC4 is based on the 2004 World Rally Championship, so you've got all the real world tracks and cars. So yeah, that is pretty much it. Thanks for watching.